Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Before we get to today's little science experiment, I just wanted to give you an update on a couple of other things. You'll remember last week I showed you the Sony TC-FX4 I bought as a parts deck, and the reason I bought that parts deck is to fix this thing, which is the old TC-FX5C. And I'm happy to report it is fixed. Well, kind of. Check that out, we've got a working door on this thing now. With that said, the damper isn't quite working properly. Sometimes it gets stuck, and I wasn't able to provide any real damping action because of the way Sony has this particular mechanism designed. It's all one piece, this damper. There's no adjustment screw in back in order to regulate the amount of airflow going into the damper. So hopefully this stays happy. It does still sometimes get stuck inwards like this, and then you have to kind of pry on the door to get it to come out, but it's working most of the time now, so I'm happy. And for the amount of money I've got into this now, it's gonna have to stay this way, at least for the next owner. This will probably go off to the charity thrift store at the same time the TAC V770 does, so someone's going to get a nice Dolby C compatible 2-head deck here, so it's going to have to be what it is. That's all I can tell you. But yeah, new door is in, everything works now. It looks kind of rough yet, but this wasn't really the best example of a TC-FX5C in the beginning, so it works better than it looks. That's as good as I can get it, so yeah, the next update I want to tell you about is the Pioneer CT970. I told you last week that I was considering shipping it the fast way, so it can be part of the next multi-diagnosis video, and it is coming the fast way now. I decided to bite the bullet and do it. Shipping the slow way would have cost me about $105 on that deck. The fast way is costing me $205, so it's going to be over budget, no way of getting around it, but it is a flagship Pioneer, so I can kind of justify it that way. With that said, I have seen on the Audio Life blog from Japan that I've been occasionally checking in on for repair tips. They have repaired 12 of those decks, and a lot of them seem to have IC failures. So if that deck has an IC failure, and I have to buy a parts deck, there is no way I'm getting the parts deck shipped the fast way the next time. It's going to have to come the slow way, because I'm already $300 into that deck, so it's over budget already. So yeah, got to save money there. But you're not here for this. You're here about WoW and Flutter stuff, so let's get started on that. Let me clear off this table and we'll get going. Okay, let the science experiment begin. Today we're going to try to figure out how good is this deck really, the DD-99. Is it really the best WoW and Flutter tape deck I have, or do I have something better, or what's going on here? We're going to find out today, I hope. I'm going all dual camera setup on this one, so hopefully everything's working. I'm shooting 1080p on as a close-up on the laptop right now. I could be doing screen capture on the laptop, but I'm not, but whatever. And I'm using the DJI Action 3 for a wide shot so you can actually see the deck we're testing right now. Now the way this is going to go is somewhat like the last time I did a WoW and Flutter video, except maybe a little truncated. You'll remember on that video we came to conclude that my RS-B755 was the best deck I had for WoW and Flutter at the time. I don't know if it still is. That's what we're here to find out today, but that's what I found at the time. And basically what we're doing is we're going to go through 6 tape decks. Just check to be sure that this is in frame for you. And yeah, we're going to use the DD-99, of course, because it's the main subject of this video. The TD-V931, the 666ES, of course, the GX-Z9100, the RS-B755, and the good old Denon DR-M3. These two were my best 2 decks previous to this little science experiment, so it'll be interesting to see if they're still right about in that area. But yeah, I've got this new NAC T100 software, and this seemed like the best way to go about getting used to said software. So, what do we do now? Well, we're going to test this deck first. The very first thing we need to do is figure out what speed or what frequency to put into this in order to get the proper 3 kHz signal out of it. And the way we're going to determine that is by using my Fix Your Audio calibration tape, the reference tape I have here from Fix Your Audio. So we'll load this up now. We'll get the wow and flutter reading up as well, just so we have as much data as possible. But yeah, I'm not doing recordings with all 6 of these decks because it's way too much time to do that, and doctor says I have to sort of scale back on my stress level. So yeah, that's what I'm doing in November. Is I'm basically doing as little as possible just so I can recover from the stress that I've been under recently. So, and also the other thing is, in order to service some of these more elaborate tape decks like this one, you've got to have at least 2 weeks of free time in order to do it. And that's why I've been so stressed out, is because I have too many decks like this, and yeah, I just don't have enough time to be able to service them and get a weekly video out for you. So yeah, me doing several low-stress videos in 1 week or so is going to help me a lot, I think. So let's see where this dials in at. Let me just check the T100 software over here. The software is basically a clone of the NAC T100 box, which is a dedicated piece of test equipment Nakamichi came out with. And I think we're going to want 0.5% in the window up here. That could be a mistake, but we'll find out. What I like about this software is we've got wow and flutter in frequency domain here. That's very useful if something's not performing correctly. And Windows is bugging me again, as Windows always does. Anyhow, this thing's all set up. Let's see where we get with the reference tape from Fix Your Audio. Looks like 0.043% wow and flutter. This is weighted root mean square. Basically the method I didn't use to test the V770 last week. When I tested the V770 properly, it came in much lower at 0.07, and this one's already settling down a bit. 0.033 looks like, 0.043, somewhere in there. So actually I'm going to scratch out this number and put 0.04 on the nose. And the speed we're getting is 3021.6 Hertz. I'm going to call it 0.4. So 3021 is what I'll put back into this deck for recording. So that's our first set of numbers. And as I've long suspected, the Fix Your Audio tape has degraded to the point it can no longer be useful for any type of wow and flutter readings. So let's move on to the next tape, which I think, well, we haven't made the DD-99 tape yet, so I can't do anything there. Let's go with the DR-M3 tape. We'll see where this one comes in at. This may well read lower than the WFGUI software did, because I don't think the WFGUI software has been updated in forever. So this software has been updated. So there might be some calculation differences between the two sets of software, and this may be well more accurate in the first place. So we'll see. Let's find out. Okay, this one's given me 0.025%. And the frequency is 3023.3. And look how stable this is. It's moving between 3023.3 and 0.4, maybe even 0.5. It's like 0.1 hertz speed variation on this deck. That's crazy. And we're up to 0.036% wow and flutter. It is interacting with the mechanism in the DR-M3. I was expecting this. I should have left a big enough field so I could write down the max value here. I'll write it down anyway. I think this is the last time I will tabulate the actual frequency on my paper here. Just because I need more space for writing the minimum and maximum wow and flutter values. Let's go to the RS-B755 tape. This one should be lower. We'll see if it is. Again, the mechanisms in both decks are resonating against each other, so we're going to get minimum and maximum values depending on how badly they interact with one another. I don't have a true wow and flutter test tape, so it is what it is. Okay, we'll fire this up. Wait till she settles down. 0.033. Oh, this tape's even more stable. Look at the frequency. It is right there. 3023.1, 3023.2. That is the maximum speed deflection I'm getting from this tape. 0.1 hertz again. Crazy. .033 yet. It's not really moving much. Just watching it for a few seconds here just to see if it stabilizes and moves around. This is a really good tape. I can already tell. 0.03032. I saw a 31 there. So I'm going to write that down. And what's the maximum? I think I saw 36. Fantastic. I'm happy with this. Now this transport is supposed to be able to go as low as 0.019%, so I highly doubt it's running that well because, again, the felt slip clutch has not been changed on this yet, on the take-up side, so yeah. It's running exceptionally well, I can tell you that right now. So, the next step before we move on to any of the other decks is to get this guy to record its own test tape. So I'm going to need a half hour to do this. And this is the tape I'm going to use. It's a Maxell UD1 30. This came with my RSM88 deck that I just got in. I ordered 8 of these, so should be really good tapes for wow and flutter. So I'll just open it up here and we'll start setting up to do this. But I'm going to do this off camera because there's no point making you sit here for half an hour when I have to already. So I do believe the NAC T100 software gives you a function generator here as well, or a signal generator. Let's see if we've got one. I think it's here somewhere. I can't be sure. I'm still not used to this software. Oh yeah, there it is. Generator right there. Don't know how to get out of the screen, of course, but yep, here's an oscillator right there. So I can use this to oh wait, no, I can't. I need fine control over the frequency. Okay, I gotta get the scope out to do that. I'll use the signal generator in the oscilloscope for this, and I'll set it for 3021, and that should give me the right frequency out of this. So let me go do that, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Okay, so the tape is done. It's right here. And before we get into any further into this, I should say, I just want to talk about the tapes I used real quick, because there's actually a date code on top of the tape here. All Maxell tapes have this. We've got a C2300151, and with this you can tell exactly when this tape was manufactured. This particular one, the first digit is the month, so C equals March. The next two digits are the day, so March 23rd. Then the fourth digit is the year, so that's a 0, so that means this tape is from 1990. So yeah, I thought you guys might want to know that, but I'm going to pop this back in the deck here. I'm going to put it on side B. The reason I'm doing that is because that's the longest point in time that the capstan motor was running, and it's had plenty of time to break in at that point, so we might get our best readings on side B here. And you guys might be a little curious as to why I did 3021 Hertz instead of 3000 Hertz. And the reason for that is because all quartz lock decks like this one, the speed is determined by the quartz crystal that's used in the oscillator to determine the reference frequency. And they all run slightly off in some way or another. And some decks are better with that than others, but this one runs at 3021. I think my TC-K666ES runs somewhere around 3008. But yeah, the reason I put 3021 Hertz in is because that is the proper frequency to get 3 kilohertz out of it. I know it's confusing, but it is what it is. Anyhow, I've got the NAC T100 software back up, even though Windows deleted it from my taskbar. I hate Windows. Anyhow, we're going to see what this tape measures in the deck that recorded it. I didn't do this for the last Wow and Flutter video, but I figured I might as well do it this time. And you guys can do your calculations if you want, but I'm not putting any credence into this number at all because of complementary error and all that kind of stuff. So let's see where this ends up. Okay, I'm getting stupid low numbers. 0.019%. No, 0.018%. Frequency is 3021, exactly what I was aiming for. I can't get over that. 0.018? This should be reading much higher than that, if you ask me, because of the errors involved. Okay, this might really be my best Wow and Flutter tape deck. I'm seeing 0.017% now. Well, there's a couple of blips up to 0.021%. I'm going to say 0.017 to 0.021%. That number is not accurate, so I'm not putting any stock in it. So now we can finally move on to the next deck in the chain of proceedings here. So let me get my tape out of this thing now. And we'll move to the next deck, which is going to be the DR-M3, because I need to verify that the correct frequency was recorded onto this tape. And that's the deck I used to do that with. So Bear with me and I'll go get it. Alright, the Denon DR-M3 is up on the table, and we're going to see where this one comes in at. It's only been running for like 30 seconds, so heaven only knows what it's going to tell us for a while in Flutter. I'm going to rewind side B a little bit again there. And let's see, where am I on my paper here? Okay, actually we need to do fix your audio reference first. Forgot about that. My apologies. Okay, fix your audio reference is in. Let's see what we get. Let her settle in first. Looks like 0.06 it's going as high as. We'll say 0.05 to 0.06. And frequency is 2999, exactly where it should be. Okay, we'll shut it off there and we'll go to the one we just recorded. I am curious about this. I suspect now, just from the data we've already got, that this thing's kind of got some resonance issues going on, some drifting up and down. So we'll see if that bears out right now. Let her settle in for a minute. Okay, 0.030% to 0.033%. Kind of scribble outside. Oh, I saw 0.037 there. I was going to say I scribbled outside the lines there, but okay, yeah, so this does have some drifting going on. And the speed is 2997.5. That is acceptable, so we got the right frequency into the DD-99. Sorry. My tongue's all getting tied up here. So let's take this tape out. And we will go over to the next tape, which is the RS-B755 tape. Which is right in front of me, but I wasn't realizing it. Okay, let's see what this one gives us. Frequency is dead on target. I knew it would be because I recorded this myself. So 0.043. .038 to 0.43. Are we going to get any higher numbers than that? I saw 37. All right, I'm going to mark that down. I'm not seeing it go any higher than that. Okay, I'm satisfied. Next, we'll do the DR-M3's own test tape. This was my second best calibration tape before the DD-9 here showed up and proceeded to stomp a mud hole in everything else, apparently, because that looks like the way it's going right now. But maybe I've still got something better in the on the shelves over there that we're going to be testing. We will find out. If anything, I suspect the TC-K666ES is going to give everything a real run for its money because there's no idler. It's all direct drive in that deck. Okay, 0.05 I saw. $45 to 5. Okay. We'll stop it there and we'll move on to the next deck. Okay, the next deck is going to be the 800-pound gorilla in the room, the TD-V931. This deck hasn't actually been used for quite a while. I've been waiting and waiting to find the free time to shoot the video on the head alignment, and I just haven't had the time, so maybe I'll get to it before the end of the year. I hope so, because there's one deck on the shelf over there that promises it's going to kick everything else down a peg on my top 5 list, and I could easily see it kicking this one down a peg too, but enough about that. You'll see that in maybe the next couple of videos. One of the next couple of videos, I don't know. It'll be in the multi-diagnosis video for sure, whenever that is. I don't know exactly when it will be. So, we gotta load up a tape in this thing. We'll do the fix your audio reference first, as we have been. And I will say right now that this does have some felt clutch issues as well in both reels in there, so I don't know how this is going to work out. Could be it'll stretch the new tape I just made, but I don't think it will. I think the back tension on this is just right at 10 grams per centimeter, which is right on the edge of being acceptable for me. So, yeah, let's find out where this deck comes in at. I'm really curious about what happens when the DD-99 tape comes into this machine. Okay, we're getting 0.05 to 5.4, it looks like. Well, I saw 49. I saw 57. So that's what I'm going to stick with, and the speed is 3005.6. Okay. That'll do for that for now. I was expecting to find more issues with this deck. It's only had one video since I did the first video on it, and I really haven't been able to get back to it. So yeah, let's see what are we gonna do next. Shall we save the DD9 tape for last? Nah, let's get right to it. We'll go side B again. Let her settle in. .0. I saw 35. Oh, it's settling in. This belt hasn't really had time to break in yet either, so could be skewing the results. 0.04 to 0.033 it looks like. Okay, I'm happy with that. I don't want to leave it in there long because of a potential tape stretch. I don't think it is able to stretch tapes. It's just, this thing needs a lot of work yet, so... Well, not a lot of work, just a little work, but it needs work is what I'm saying. Okay, RS-B755 comes next. I mean the tape. We'll get the deck out sooner or later here. 0.042 on the low end. And what's our top end? Oh, I saw 39 now. I should really learn to be more patient when observing these readings. Okay, 39 to 45, I'm going to say. But yeah, we knew this one needed work yet. This one's here to sound good, not make test tapes, so I'm not too worried about pulling down the best possible numbers from this particular machine. Okay, the DR-M3 tape goes in now. I'll probably be reviewing this footage to see where the resonances are on the wound, flutter, and frequency domain chart, just to see what else I need to service about this deck. I think it's just the felt slip clutches I need to worry about on this machine, but I don't know. Ooh, it shut off. Why did it shut off? Oh, yeah. Felt clutch issues. That's what's going on there. The take-up reel stopped. Let's see if we can get it going again. No, it's quit completely. Yeah, this deck is not working properly again. Yeah, the take-up reel is not turning. Let's just have a quick look here. I want to pull the cover off and see what it does. No, it's completely unable to turn the tape now. So we're not going to get any data off this one. So I'm going to cross a line through that, and we're going to put the door back on this thing and wait for its next video. I may have to do my felt clutch experiment on this deck first now. Not sure. There could still be oil on the take-up idler in this thing, so I don't know. So we'll give this deck a rest. By the way, I'm glad I got through at least one vaporwave tape on this thing before getting to this point, but we'll fix her eventually. We'll get there. Okay, next one, we'll get the 666ES out. Alright, fancy schmancy Sony is on the bench. And the door is still working, thank goodness. Okay, what am I doing first? Fix your audio reference. Now this one's had a little more time to get this FRSP 8.97 belt broken in, so be interesting to see where this one works out. So let's hit play and find out, shall we? Looks like 0.067% on the high side. 53 on the low side. I hope this thing isn't about to give me more reasons to get back into it and work on it, because I have so had enough of with this deck's drama. I can't even tell you how over this deck I am right now. But it sounds magnificent, I gotta tell you. Let's see. We'll do the DD-99's tape next, because it's the next on the paper here. What's this one gonna say? Looks like 0.65 to 0.51 or something like that. kind of wrote my numbers backwards there, but I'm actually kind of disappointed. I tested this thing as soon as I got this software, and I saw much lower numbers than that from one of my other test tapes. So I wonder if I still need to do some recalibration of the reel table motors in this thing. Okay, we'll get that tape out next. The one that gave me the real stinking low numbers on this deck. The last time I tested this deck with this tape and this software, I got 0.021%. Let's see if we still get there. No. It's more stable with this tape. 55 to 61. I mean, I can live with these numbers, especially for a deck that isn't here to record these tapes, but kind of curious as to why it's so much higher now. Let me try weighted quasi-peak and we'll see what that says. Yeah, much higher. That's not any surprise to me. And the speed is 3002.4. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm not too concerned about what this deck is able to do right now. It's just here to provide more data points in this particular video. As long as it doesn't shoot somewhere like 0.1 or something like that WRMS, then I can live with it the way it is. Okay, the DR-M3 tape is going in. We'll let it settle. 53 to, I saw 57. This really was performing better the last time I tried it. I wonder if it needs to sit there and let the capstan run a little longer in order to get the real good numbers out of it. I'm going to put the 755 tape back in and then we'll see where this comes out, because it really did do a lot better numbers. Oh, and I forgot to set the type 1 switch. That shouldn't affect anything though. It really shouldn't. And no, it doesn't. We're getting the same readings. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not concerned about it. As long as it doesn't do any worse than that, I'm happy. Alright guys, I found the problem with the 666ES yet again. The brass core pinch rollers are garbage. They don't work in this deck. Well, they might be garbage anyway, but I don't know. They might not be garbage in other decks, but they're garbage in this deck. Anyway, this is a fix your audio take-up side pinch roller, and when I took this pinch roller back off, I found that there were scrape marks on this side of the pinch roller mount, so it had been grinding. So this is a little bit better, at least for this deck. The core of this pinch roller is about 1 millimeter smaller than the brass core was, so there's more rubber surface to go into the cassette shell. And I have actually removed the washer here, and it's not binding up, at least right now. I can put it back if I need to, but yeah, that's the problem. And I think there's a similar problem over on this side. I got to replace this one too. And I think I've actually got another fix your audio pinch roller for this, but I don't want to tangle with this adjustment nut right now, so I'm not going to do it. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you what this deck does now. I was playing with this about 3 hours last night, trying to figure out what the heck was going on with it, and by the time I got done with all my pokings and proddings, this deck was running at 0.2% WoW and Flutter. It was really, really high, and I'll show you what it is now. DD-99 tape going in. We'll get you in on this. It's back down to about 0.05 or 0.06, somewhere around there. We're still getting those little, let me get you in here. We're still getting these spikes at 2 Hz and 4 Hz. Those are still a problem, and I believe those are from the supply side pinch roller now. It's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, it's performing much better now. I'm sorry if I didn't have you on in frame there, but yeah, there might still be a component to this with the servo adjustment, but I'm not inclined to go chasing that anytime soon. I am so done with this deck. Okay, we are up on the table with Big Andy right now, and I gotta tell you guys, this deck now has an actual PRB FRSP 8.97 belt inside there. It's no longer running the Fix Your Audio capstan belt. Finally got it done. It was a pain, but I got it done. But should be ready to go here. However, I will say that this belt has not had any time to break in yet, so I don't know how this is going to do. I will say that I suspect this thing needs a new reel motor. And I've suspected that since the first time I tested WoW and Flutter on it. It's simply not running anywhere near where it should be, which is 0.028%. And I think the only way to get it there is to replace the reel motor. It's just a feeling I have. Maybe we'll find confirmation in this video. But yeah, Fix Your Audio tape is in. Let's see where this comes out at. Let's hook up the deck first and then see where this comes out at. I knew I was forgetting something. Let's see, liney outy, left and right. Okay, now we'll see. 0.0, well, you saw 39%. $39 to $46. 38 to 37 now. 37 to 47. Let's put that down. That's kind of shocking to me to find this outperforming the TD-V931, because the 931 has a better motor design than this one does. And they both use the same belt. Well, not the exact same belt, obviously, because I'm not swapping them back and forth between decks, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's get the DD-99 tape in there. No, wait, let's save it for last. Let us save that one for last, and we'll do the other two tapes first. Okay, this is the 755 tape right now. .050 to .059. Well, it definitely likes the Fix Your Audio reference tape better, I'll tell you what. Which is kind of strange because the RS-B755 is the second best recording deck, I think, to the DD-99 right now. We'll find out as time goes by. So clearly something about the Fix Your Audio reference machine, which is a TC-K666ES ESJ, clearly something about that deck is more compatible with this deck than my RS-B755 is, which is weird. Okay, DR-M3 tape is in. Giving me really bad numbers. 0.082 to 69. That is not good numbers. I am sorry, that is not good numbers. So, with that said, I will say as long as the DD-99 tape gives me something closer to the Fix Your Audio reference tape, I'm happy with this deck the way it is. Remember, this belt is a week old. It's only been in there that long. So, it's probably going to get better. This thing did 0.045% the last time I checked it, before the belt was changed again. So, yeah, this is going to probably break in a little better. Let's see what this gives us. Oh, heck yeah, 0.045. Those are the good numbers I expect from this machine. And it's settling in as we speak. 0.039 I saw. Just going to keep an eye on it for a minute here to let it stabilize. .038 to 0.042 it looks like. It's getting better and better as I watch it here, because it's had more time to get the capstan motor running. And it's getting that belt broken in as we look at it here. 0.045. Okay, so I'm content to leave this deck as is for now. I remain convinced that it's about the best it can be without a new reel motor. But it should wear in a little bit better as that belt breaks in, so we'll have to see. That's all I can say. Okay, our final deck is the RS-B755. Let me go get that. Okay, a good old trusty 755. Shall we see what she can do for us? First off, the Fix Your Audio reference tape, of course. I just noticed I've been forgetting to write down the speed calibration numbers for the rest of these decks here with the Fix Your Audio tape, but that doesn't matter. I know what this one runs at. It's 3016. Plus, I can always get the data off my video if I need it. Okay, what are we getting on this tape today? We're getting confirmation that I didn't hook up the audio again. We'll do that in real time. Okay, 0.045, 47, somewhere around there, 48, 41 to 48. Looks like it's running 3014 today, or 3015. Whatever. 45 to 50, I'm going to say. And since I may need to make another test tape with this eventually, I'm going to write down my speed number on this one, or my frequency number. But I'm fairly confident this is working as intended. I cannot think of a single thing more I can do to this deck to make its WoW and Flutter numbers better, except for maybe real motor replacement. But I'm going to go ahead and save the DD-99's tape for last again, because that's the deck we're evaluating today for this. We'll do the 55's, or the 755's own tape now. What are we getting here? .024 to 0.028. Ridiculously crazy. But this was my best WoW and Flutter machine before today, so I was expecting it to hand in some good gravy numbers here. DR-M3 tape is next. And what are we getting now? .37 to 42, it looks like. I know I'm not letting these decks have enough time to settle in, really, but I've only got so much time today, so it is what it is. A lot of these decks will settle in and break in as time goes by. Like, I swear to you, I've got 0.021% out of that Sony 666 when I was testing this software earlier. Okay, side B of the DD-99's tape. I'm going to rewind it a bit because we've been winding well into it now. I'll stop about halfway. And let's see what data this can give us. Oh, look how stable this is. 0.030 to 34, it looks like. We'll watch it for a second here. 3012.5 hertz, definitely within the acceptable range of error there for speed. So that's even more confirmation that I got the right frequency into the DD-99. And I'm getting the real impression here that the RS-B755 and the DD-99 are dead even for WoW and Flutter performance. And this is with the DD-99 still having a bad slip clutch in the take-up reel. Eventually that deck is going to stop moving the take-up reel like the TD-V931 did in this video. Guaranteed. But like I said before in previous videos, when I get to doing the DD7 service, that one will get the new slip clutch in the take-up reel. And then we're going to see what that transport can really do. But yeah, it looks like we're getting consistent results out of this. So, all our data has been collected. I'm going to shut the laptop off now. And I will close out this video with only the Action 3 running right now. Let me check my shot on that. Okay, let's have a look at our data here. close that up and shut it off first. Okay, here's what we've got. The DD-99 with its own tape went from 0.017% to 0.021%. The RS-B755 on its own tape went from 0.024% to 0.028%. That is kind of leading me to believe that the DD-99 is indeed the better of the two decks. However, we've got to look at the rest of this data in that context. So, the 755, fix your audio reference went from 0.045 to 0.050, and the DD-99 went from 0.03 to 0.04. Okay, that's enough for me to tell you already that the DD-99 is the better deck, at least for now. That could change for the better or for the worse. We'll see. Now, let's see here. The DR-M3 tape, let's look at those numbers. 0.025 to 0.04 on the double D99, and on the 755, 0.037 to 0.042. Yeah, more confirmation there that the double D99 is the better deck for WoW and Flutter. And yeah, I'm just seeing this across the board here. What's really surprising me is the GX-Z9100. I didn't think it was going to outperform the TD-V931, but it is. I didn't think it was going to outperform the CC-K666ES, but it is. Barely, I gotta say. It's only doing that on one tape, really, or two tapes. The Fix Your Audio Reference and the double D99. But, yeah, over here on the TD-V931, while it was working, we were getting 0.033 to 0.040. So once I get the 931 into fully working order, and there's no more issues with the take-up reel, yeah, I'm thinking that's going to become my second best deck of the ones that are working. But I think that will change real quick once I get the double D7 fixed. Because, like I said, that one's going to get the new felt clutch first. So, yeah. The RS-B755 is the number 2 deck I have for WoW and Flutter, and the DD-99 is the new number 1. So, basically confirmed what I was kind of suspecting all along. And, yeah, the DD-99 is going to get a new felt clutch itself. Because, like I said, eventually it's going to stop working just like the 931 did. The 931 runs lower take-up torque than this one does. I can't talk anymore. What can I say? But, yeah. Some interesting results here. Be interested to see what you guys think of all these numbers. I'm just sort of holding them up here as long as I can so you can see the data for yourself. So, yeah. Next video will be the multi-diagnosis video for the next round of decks. We'll see what happens with that. Like I said, the Pioneer's getting shipped fast-tracked, but it's only expected to be here on the 24th of November. So I don't know if I can have that video ready for you the week after this video that you're seeing now goes up. I will try to do it, but just in case I can't, I will finish up the Pioneer CTF615, I think. The new IC for the display drive is in, and like I said in the last video, we've got a new motor for it, so yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. See you in the next video. Take care.